Let's start it. As part of AWS services integration with Python, in this we are going to discuss one use case, ingest CSV data from AWS S3 to AWS RDS using Python. Let me explain diagrammatically so that you'll get a clear clarity. What are we are going to implement? Let's say in one service called AWS S3, let's say AWS S3, and we have another service called RDS, let's say RDS, and middle we are going to write Python application. So we are going to write Python application. Okay, and then so here we are getting data into S3 location. So daily or weekly or quarterly or monthly, or we are getting data into S3 location. S3 location. Let's say this is my AWS S3, AWS S3. So here we are getting file into bucket. Let's say bucket, under bucket, let's say folder, under folder, let's say files. So we are getting file system. So maybe another application may be generating file, or from other system they are uploading files into S3. Then using our Python application, we are going to read this file and then we are going to write it into AWS RDS table. Let's say this is my program, let's say program name S3 to RDS MySQL ingestion file. I created one Python file. Here we write a logic of reading S3 file, and if required, we are going to perform basic validations, and then we will write file data into AWS RDS. So this is our actual logic we are going to implement in this Python file. So here this side we have AWS RDS. This side we have AWS RDS, and in this RDS, let's say we have created AWS Aurora MySQL. Let's say we created or we provisioned MySQL from AWS RDS. In this, we have created, assume we created a database. In that, we created a table. In that, we created a table. Let's say rows and columns. Rows and columns. So table should be exist. Then using our SQL using AWS RDS connection, we will create a table. Then we are going to load data into this table thing. So this may be again. This may be raw table. This may be raw table. On raw table, they are going to apply. They are going to apply transformations using technologies like PySpark, etc. And finally, they are going to export that data to downstreams like Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, QuickSight, etc. tools. So our part is as a Python developer, we are writing Python application to connect S3 location and read file, and then we are going to write that file data into MySQL database, which is presented in AWS RDS. So here we will create a connection between S3 and we will create a connection between AWS RDS using Python technology. So here first let me explain. Let me explain prerequisites. First one, Python you should know Python. You should know Python and you should already install you should install Python. Second one, you should have AWS account. You should have AWS account and you need to you should have knowledge of SQL. You should have knowledge of SQL. These are prerequisites for this one. Okay. These are prerequisites of this one. And business scenario, we are doing this business scenario. Yeah. So we are going to get CSV file into S3 location as a organization. So here business scenario is our organization getting files. Here we are going to use CSV. You may get any kind of file into S3 location. Then our requirement, we are going to implement Python application because we are just ingesting data from S3 location to AWS RDS. And later on the data, ETL application may be built and data analytic applications may build to use this data. Okay, next one tip. Next one. So here what we are doing, we are reading the file and we validate the file and we insert the data into AWS RDS MySQL. Next one tip. Next one. Once this implementation is completed, once this implementation is completed, you can add below techniques to automate this job. One, you can, you can deploy this application into any server, then you can deploy this application into any server, then you can automate with one. Write shell script plus cron job to execute this Python job automatically. This is one. R. Next one. You can create AWS Lambda to invoke this Python script when file event generated in AWS S3. Next one. You can create R. You can create AWS step functions AWS step functions to call this Python script. To call this Python script, or or to schedule or to schedule to schedule this Python script, or we can create airflow DAG to define pipeline, or schedule this Python script. So once this implementation is completed, then you can do any of this activity. I do not want any special techniques. Go with writing Linux shell script, then cron job for automation, then shell script and cron job will taken care to call your Python job. Okay, so nowadays people are using these three techniques: Lambda, step functions, and Apache Airflow. Okay, now let's start understanding step-by-step procedure how we are going to implement this use case. Okay, yeah, let me first dataset thing. I have a dataset orders underscore, let's say 2026 underscore 01 underscore 01.csv file. I want to load this file into S3 location. I have this file in my local machine. This is my file. So next, what I am doing, I am going to create a bucket. And I am going to place a file in that bucket. Okay. Let me open AWS account. I already logged into this AWS account. This is my AWS management console. Here I already uh, visited multiple AWS services. That's why I am able to see recently visited services. In your case, if you created recently, you may not see all the services list. Go search for type S3 and open S3 in new tab. Open S3 in new tab. Yeah. So now I relogged it. Then search S3. Open S3 in new tab. Okay. Then here it will open a S3 dashboard. Left to side you can see buckets. Here we have an option of create bucket. Click on bucket. Then I am creating bucket uh, Akkem Sreenivas hyphen Python hyphen S3. Then uncheck this option. Then I acknowledge. Then create a bucket. Inside this bucket, I am going to create a folder for storing, loading this data. Let's say I am creating a folder called orders, and then click on create folder. In this folder, just drag this file, place this file, click on upload. That's it. Close, click on close. You can see orders underscore file is created. Okay. Now step 2 is completed. Now let's implement step 3. Step 3 is we need to create a table in AWS RDS. Let me show. Open RDS, Aurora RDS in a separate service. Here I already created a database for MySQL Aurora. Let me refresh. Oh, sorry. Here I am going to change Mumbai region. Yeah. So this is my database. Okay. So here these are database properties team, and I can connect this database using Workbench in my developer machine. I created a connection to RDS. Let's click on this one. Then we can use database and manage database. And here you can select this one. Here I provided host name. Let's see, database hyphen Sreenivas hyphen instance hyphen 1.some IP address. This is complete host name. Let me take this host name. See, we used this endpoint. Copy this endpoint. Then we used this endpoint. We used this endpoint for creating connection between MySQL Workbench with AWS RDS instance. Then here I am writing table creation logic. Let's say for this project I am creating a separate database. Okay, let's see, create a database e-commerce DB. I am switching this e-commerce DB. Then I am writing orders table. Let me open here. This orders file contain order ID, customer ID, product name, quantity, price, and order date. With all these columns, I am creating a table. Now you can refresh here. You can see e-commerce underscore DB. Here you can see orders table. Now let me display records of orders table. Select star from orders table. Let me execute this one. Control enter. Yeah, 1 minute. Select star from this one, control enter. You can see no records are presented in this table. We just created a table definition. Now let's start implementing Python job. Before implementing Python job, you need to install Boto3 MySQL connector, MySQL-connector-Python. These two libraries are required. So open VS Code, open the folder. I am going to open folder file, folder, and folder I created under C drive, under Akkem Sreenivas, under this one, under data integrations, workspace. This is Python integration with AWS. Let me create instead of this one, let's say AWS services integration with Python. Let's take this file folder, click on select. Okay. Yes, click on I trust these authors. Close this one. Close this one. Here, click on terminal, new terminal. I am going to copy this command, pip install Boto3 MySQL connector. In my mission, I already installed these packages. So it is going to give messaging requirements already satisfied. In your case, it is going to install both libraries into your machine. Okay. Yeah. Let me. Next one thing. Create a Python file. Create a Python file. Python file name I am giving S3 to RDS MySQL ingestion.py. Here I am creating a Python file, and this is my Python file. You can just copy this code and discuss each step by step tip. Let's place here. Now let's start discussing. First one, we need to import Boto3. Any idea what is the purpose of Boto3 library? Last time we already discussed. With the credentials, we can connect from AWS Python application to S3 or any service in AWS. Second one, CSV library purposes to create a connection between Python application with any AWS service. Yeah, Python to AWS. Python to AWS. Yes. Second import is to read CSV file format file. And the third import is to create a connection between your Python application and database. And fourth import, it is AWS Boto3. Okay, next one. Let me provide S3 bucket path. So bucket, go to AWS S3. Go to AWS S3. And in this, This is our bucket name. Let me uh, take this copy URI, copy URI. Copy this URI. So this is our bucket name. Copy this bucket name and enter, provide this bucket name. This is my bucket name. And in this, we have a folder called orders. Under orders, we have our CSV file. So S3 underscore key means orders and file name. Next one, database configuration. Copy endpoint URL of your database. Copy endpoint URL and enter this endpoint URL. Next one, tip. Username and password. Password India @123 123 123 and database name e-commerce underscore DB. We just created e-commerce underscore DB. Okay. Now I'm writing a function to read file from S3 bucket to our location. So I am creating a connection boto3.client S3 and then it will create a connection between your S3 location to boto3. Boto3 Python application connection creation. Once we create a connection, then S3 connection having a get object, we can pass complete bucket and file path location. It will read that file data. Then I am converting that data in a text format or string format. Then whoever calls this function, I am returning that data. Next one, tip. I am writing another insert function. In this, I am taking CSV data. I am creating a connection between MySQL with our Python application. We are passing DB configuration. Here we provide a database connection details. Okay. Database connection details. Then use insert query. I am writing insert command. Okay. Then I am using CSV reader. I am converting my data in a CSV reader format. Then I am converting each one record in a collection format. Finally, I am calling execute many. I am passing insert query and records. Then it will insert all rows into MySQL table. And finally, I am closing connection. And finally, I am writing one function. In this function, I am saying underscore name underscore. Our program name is this one. We are going to run Python command, and we are going to run our program name. Our program name, let's say S3 underscore x dot py. Whenever you run any program, it will create some default variables. In Python, there are some default variables. There is one variable called underscore name. Okay, let's say from this, if you call another Python program, for this program, it gives underscore name equal to main. This program underscore name equal to, it gives this program name. Whatever the program we run in using Python command, for that program, it gives name is underscore main program. So whenever you run, first it will call this function, it will check this condition, then it will start executing each statement. Let me execute this program. Yeah, I'm trying to run this program. Right click on this program, run Python in file in terminal. See, it is reading data from S3 location. It failed. It failed to connect S3 location because here we did not provide credentials to connect S3. We need user details to connect to S3. We need to create a user and we need to give access S3 access to that user. Then we need to generate. We need to generate access key and secret key. Okay. Yeah. Let's say in our application, while creating connection between S3 location, we just used this S3 client. Okay. We just used S3 client. See this syntax, right? We just provided only S3, but we have to provide access key ID, secret key ID, and region. Region is we are using Mumbai region, AP-south-1. South-1 is Mumbai region name, and go to AWS IAM, search IAM, open IAM in new tab, and go to users. And here I have a user called Sreenivas, and here this is my access key, user secret key. Let's say go to uh, this access key and secret key, and you can see different users access key and secret key. And this one, let me delete this user, create another user. So I'm going to create another user team. Let's create a user. Create a user. Username I'm creating Sreenivas. Sreenivasa. Then I'm generating. No, it is for normal user. You have to create a normal user. Then click on create user and click on next button. Before that, attach policy. Policy is we need to attach S3 access of S3 access to this user. Then click on next button, click on create user, go to users, back to users and select user. And here you can see create access key. And here, see where you are running your Python application currently. Outside of Python environment, right? Sorry, outside of AWS environment, right? This is my AWS environment. And I am running Python application in my Windows machine. Yes or no? I am running this Python application in Windows machine. So select this option, application running outside AWS. Select this one, then click on next button and description is optional. Let's say Sreenivas. Then click on create access key. Copy this access key. Enter. This access key. change this access key. Check, is there any spaces? No, right? No space. Take another secret key, copy secret key, and replace this secret key. Okay. Now take this entire syntax, replace this one, this statement, place this syntax. Okay. Now save this one, save this one. Okay, save this one, rerun this application. Right click on this application, run Python program in terminal. Now you can see, see here, reading S3, and here we are calling read CSV to S3, and we are passing bucket. So we are passing bucket, and here line number 32. Here we are creating client object, client.get object, and here see line 603. Okay, let's see here. Just give a bucket name. Just give a bucket name. Okay, right click on this one, clear screen. Then right click on this application. Once again, run. In document, I put a different name, but uploaded same name. Yeah. Let me check here. So this process is completed. This process reading data S3 is completed. Now it is trying to insert data into RDS. While inserting, we got error saying access denied for the user. This is the user, admin user. Yeah, go to this user. So here replace this word, replace this one. Okay, let's save this one. Let's rerun this program once again. Run in terminal. Reading data is completed. Then while writing insert into MySQL, we got error. Error is, observe here, exception. This is the user, access denied for the user for this public IP. Okay, let's go here. Username is this one and password. Let me open previous program and check. Okay, this is password. Password is wrong. Let's change this password. Okay, save this one. Right click on this program once again. Run Python in terminal. Now it will work. Data inserted successfully. Go to AWS RDS. Go to AWS RDS. Previously, we ran this select query for verification. There are no records. Now let's execute this one. Let me select this one. Control Enter. Yeah. So see, so records are, let me open our input file. So total 10 records. You can see count is 10 records. Right?